Hi, I'm Will.
I'm Adam.
We're here in Adam's workshop.
Workshop, man cave.
Man cave workshop. Today, I'm really excited about this. We've got something a little different. We've got a whole bunch of kits of the Blade Runner gun, which you're something of an expert on.
I am something of an expert on the Blade Runner gun. Yes, it's true. I have been scratch building my own Blade Runner gun for about 7 years now.
Okay.
And I purchased all the original guns that the original gun was milled from, and I gunsmithed them and altered them. I only have a few things left on it, and it's just an ongoing thing. I jump into it every few months and work on some specific part of it.
Going home.
Yes.
Okay.
But part of that is that I have an obsession and a fascination with the form of the gun itself.
Well, and it's an interesting gun because it's made of two different guns, right? Real guns.
Yeah.
I know you said one was a German target rifle.
Yes, this top part, the receiver part, is actually from a target rifle made by Steyr-Mannlicher. And then on the inside here, which is not very visible, is a Charter Arms Bulldog.
Okay. So like a revolver?
A 44 caliber revolver. Okay. Yeah. So there was actually, you could push this safety and pull this out, and there would be rounds in there.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
This is a really crappy casting of what is referred to as one of the stunt pistols from Blade Runner. So in Blade Runner, for instance, when he pulls out the gun and Leon slaps it out of his hand, that's a rubber gun.
Okay, because they didn't want to risk the one real prop.
Right, exactly.
On flying across the room.
So a mold was made, and that mold made it all around Hollywood and the special effects industry and to the world outside. And this is a casting probably, who knows, probably 7th, 8th generation.
It's a promiscuous mold.
It's a promiscuous mold. Everyone's had a ride. And it's a terrible casting, but it's just one of my garbage castings that's out here just for reference.
Okay. So then what else? The other thing that's happened with this, because there was only one of the props, and it's really popular.
Yes.
There's a bunch of people that are making kits that you can pick up on, eBay and Amazon, places like that?
Sometimes eBay and Amazon. These kits specifically are made in limited runs by people for people that they know. They're not in business. They're not really, it's not like they make their living from this, but they're lovers of the Blade Runner aesthetic, and they're lovers of the gun specifically. So these 4 kits represent 2 different makers. On the camera left here is David Goldberg Arms. He's just come out with this, and it's a beautiful snub-nosed blaster, like a little Derringer, perhaps the kind of blaster you can keep in your boot.
So these aren't necessarily exact replicas of the original prop.
No, as we would say in the prop industry, in the prop collecting industry, these are non-canon.
Okay.
None of these were ever appeared in any piece of Blade Runner anything, but this is how far people go. They're like, oh, I wonder what a smaller version of that would look like. Inspired by,
okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. You were showing me the finish on this. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but the detail on this is really, really amazing, and the casting is gorgeous.
It is, and it's something in garage kits where if you buy a garage kit is sort of anything that's a kit homemade by somebody, and you can buy tons of these on eBay. Most of them arrive looking like this piece of garbage here. I've bought some, and like anybody with $100 can pour some rubber and pour resin into the rubber. It takes a real craftsman, like the makers of these kits, to turn out castings that are this crisp and sharp with very little flash. Flash is the separation between the mold halves. Sometimes you can see it. Very little cleanup required to make these into quite nice kits.
Some of the pieces on this one especially look like pieces of PVC pipe that were just cut with a really fine tooth saw. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and yet this is actually cast resin.
It's amazing.
So Dave Goldberg made this snub nose blaster. It's brand new. I just got it, and I'm really excited about putting it together. In fact, actually, I purchased 2 sets of hilts I purchased 2 whole kits from him.
Okay.
One with these pearl grips, and one with the clear resin grips. Now, with the pearl grips, I want to actually put a logo badge in them, like you can find on a lot of handguns. So on eBay, let's say, Steyr is the original maker of this receiver.
The target rifle.
The target rifle, yes. Now, I purchased some Steyr lapel pins on eBay with the Steyr logo, and I will actually drill and embed those in the grips here for real authenticity.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So that's that one.
For real fake authenticity on this one.
For the type of authenticity I desire.
Okay. That sounds good.
These 3 guns were all 3 different versions of the blaster made by a friend of mine named Rick Ross. He has his own company that he's had for years called Doppelganger. And it's very interesting. Rick apparently... I'm not exactly sure how true this story is, but here's what I heard, is that when he first made his Blade Runner gun, I think this is pretty close to his first version.
Okay.
He had a Steyr rifle that was the wrong one. So his gun's totally the wrong scale to the original blaster. And yet, he got something out of it in terms of a boldness that I find I like as much as the Blade Runner pistol.
Well, because the thing about the Blade Runner pistol is, like, one of the place that you see it is when Deckard's holding it, you're looking down his arm toward his head. Yeah. The gun looks enormous.
Yes, you don't really see it very well.
And this is what I thought.
Right.
Like, I look at this and this makes me feel like the gun.
In fact, it's actually a fair bit larger than the original pistol.
Well, you said when you make stuff, frequently you find it's 10 or 15% larger than the actual prop.
To his credit, he didn't stop making them. He makes them very infrequently now. But as a friend of mine, he made me a set of each of these. So this is I think his standard, what he calls the P-Flager Katsumata. I'm not sure I'm getting the pronunciation right.
He made a whole...
He worked out a whole, like, alternate universe that he's really embedded himself in. And it's a wonderful thing. So all this logoing is his and his alone. The Japanese characters, the Chinglish, all the stuff he's put in as part of the Blade Runner canon are wonderful.
Very early 80s cyberpunk kind of, like William Gibson vibe there.
Yes. So he also posited that there might be a bigger gun than the Blade Runner handgun. So this is the PKD Magnum. And by the way, PKD stands for Philip K. Dick.
That's perfect. Exactly. That's exactly right.
So this is the Magnum. It's even bigger. It's even badder. It's got flutes at the base of the barrel. It's a real, like, it's a bulldog.
This is the Clint Eastwood version of that universe's gun.
Yes, the Dirty Harry.
Exactly.
Yes, and then this is really cool, and I'm really pleased to own both versions of this. This is Rick Ross's snub-nosed Blade Runner blaster. So now I have 2 totally different approaches to the snub-nosed blaster. I'm looking forward to one day. I've got like 9 different versions of this gun. Several that I've built, many that I've collected. No, actually probably 16 different versions now that I think about it. I'm looking forward to a wall display
Just
someday.
A big shadow box?
A full taxonomy of the Blade Runner pistol on the wall.
Fantastic. Okay, so what's next with these? You're going to take these, and then obviously, do you assemble and then kind of paint and weather, or do you paint the individual components, or what's your approach?
A mixture of both for guns like this. First off, there's the question of whether you make it weathered or whether you make it as issued. I tend towards weathered because I like the patina of things. I may actually have more than one of these metal plated.
Okay.
This one, where I put the pearl grips on it, I may actually bright chrome plate it because I think that's actually
that would be really badass.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
If I did some of these, I might actually try and gun plate them and then gun glue them.
Like glue them, yeah.
So deciding on the finish is one thing. There's also the fact that because they're resin, they're quite light. With Rick's kits specifically, I've often ground out voids and put in lead weights so that they actually are heavier.
It has a gun heft.
I want them to feel heavy.
Well, you want it to feel right?
Yes. So what the next step is wherever my enthusiasm falls. I keep these kits. I have a whole section of garage kits that I purchase and haven't built or have half built. And I may find myself with an extra few hours, and I don't want to work on something that's been on the burner for a long time because I'm burned out on it. And I'll pull up one of these. And honestly, given how clean these castings are, none of these kits would take me more than about 2 hours to put together, and another probable half day to paint. So they're all pretty quick hits as far as a satisfaction return. It's just about when I want to tackle it.
Okay, sounds great. Well, thank you as always, Adam, for another glimpse inside the workshop. We'll be back with more, next week. Until then, I'm Will.
And I'm Adam.
Bye.